Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we are gonna do a paint along of a beach scene. The composition is very simple. It's just the sea here, my horizon line, and the sun. And this is a time near the sunrise. I went ahead and I used Holbein masking fluid. I like this brand in particular, but you are welcome to use any brand of masking fluid that you feel comfortable with. So this watercolor is gonna be more traditional than the Seagull project. I'm starting wetting my paper. I'm gonna start with a traditional wash, and then I will use mostly dry brush on the beach part of the painting. So I put some water. It's not dripping, it's not soaking, it's just enough water for the paints to run easily. And I'm gonna use my oval wash brush, and I'm gonna start adding Aureolin, that is also known as cobalt yellow. So I go right through the masking. I'm gonna reserve some whites here at the horizon line. I would like to use them as an indication of mist, because if you pay attention when the sun is rising near a beach or on a beach, you have that feeling of a certain, let's say, mist kind of effect. And I'm gonna add a bit of gently to my wash. Again, I don't want to go all the way, and I want to keep an area lighter where the sun is coming. I can also add a tiny bit of pink, just to add interest. Again, I want this part around the sun to be lighter, not necessarily have edges. Right now I'm just blending and very gently adding paint. Watercolor, we can always go darker, but it's pretty difficult if you will want to try to lift color later on. So it's an exercise of patience every time that you're painting watercolors. And I'm gonna add a little bit of Cobalt Blue, just a tiny bit. Because The sun is rising. If I wanted a sunset, I would start with a darker tone on the top of my painting, and I would go towards oranges and reds, oranges, and this would be a way darker, and my water would be as well darker. But since we are doing a sunrise, we want to add some very light tones of blue. And we always move our paper around. Well, suppose you don't like at all moving your paper. You prefer it to be bounded to a board or something else that you can move. That's fine too. For that, you can use a completely dry and clean brush and very gently move the paint. A very gentle blending. And if you feel like you need more paint on the sky later on, if you want to smooth out this transition here, you can always do as soon as it dries. Look, it's already looking nicer. And if I want, I could, in principle, add a little more blue, as long as I don't overdo with using my brush almost dry. Adding a little more of yellow to this combination. As long as the paper is still a little bit wet, you have time. A little more blending. And this is gonna dry, and I will come back here with another tones of oranges, missing some oranges. I'm gonna add a little bit of lavender to my sieve. Just be mindful of the horizon line. And I'm not too worried about the pier here. But as you can see, I'm really stressing out leaving the horizon line open up. And to contrast with all the softness in the sky, I'm gonna start doing my beach here. And look, I'm using my brush almost dry. The paper is dry. I want to leave these textures. I'm leaving them on the purpose. And I'm trying to throw color without disturbing my dry brush work. We want to create as much interest as possible, and I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, not too much. I don't want to eat my painting, so just remember, you're not cooking. You just want to create some interest. You can also use some pure water with a toothbrush, just to, again, to create interest on your painting. And if you see something you don't like it, you go gently and remove it with a little piece of paper towel. And also remember, you're always welcome to come back and add more paint. So at this stage, I'm gonna stop and let it dry, and we come back in a minute.